Hey Shalom, when the star of souls but giving no praise to Yahweh, Bashem El Shah, Bashem Kadash, double honors to the apostles of great millstone and honors to you brothers doing the work, the most in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's raw name of whom the world ignorantly calls God Jehovah Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh. Son's true name is Yahweh Shai, and when we pray Yahweh Bah Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bah meaning in, Ha meaning that, and Sham meaning names Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, just wanted to get in on on this one. Man, the videos coming out as as part of this catastrophe, if you will, right? Because be sure it was catastrophic. In fact, let's look up what that word means here. Catastrophic meaning. All right. Let me get back into actually clicking into links, man. The AI overview will have, because there's an art to research, and yeah, of course we make use of the AI, but even in my job, I'm just like, yeah, man, that always jump into the AI, man. There's certain understandings that you certain skills that you lose when you're just using the AI and stuff. So this is catastrophic. It says causing sudden and very great harm or destruction, right? And even on that, the thing that came to mind, right? Because when America's destroyed, that's going to be catastrophic, right? It's going to be sudden, right? It says 1 hour. All right, it's gonna be hella load of precepts on that. Just go straight to the point. Revelation 18. Thing is, it said a few times. But you know what? We got time. Let's read into it, right? Grief over Babylon, right? It says, and we'll get back to the topic. As Apostle Tar says, lessons. Right, it's Revelation 18 from 9, right? So, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, for when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Right? And that's it, even, in kind of like the way I'm thinking about how this they call it a flash flood, right? But there would have been certain things that would have been happening, that would have been building up over time, that has made this such a a destructive happening, right? This flood, right, in Nepal, right? There would have been things that would have been happening for a while, in the same way, right? To the world, right? It may just be like, oh, America's just been destroyed, but actually, the things for America's destruction have been building up, right? Just same way with the dam. You look at like when dams fail, right? It will be just a creek, right? That's been growing. Now, I've been growing for years. But then it gets to that one point where it's like, bam, the time is now, right? Which even saying that makes me think of this, right? This is Job 14, right, and 5. Right, it says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. And that's it. They are Salakia, right? They're just certain things, right? Certain points where, like, let me read that analogy as well, right? But yeah, it says, there are certain things that are, that are allotted in the heavens, right? In fact, everything is allotted in the heavens, right? Now, he thinks that he's going to be able to go longer than he really can, right? Things of that regard, right? But the Most High has other ideas, right? The Most High has other ideas, right? So there's a certain point, right, and an appointed time when things are supposed to happen, and just like in this flooding, right, and just like in America's destruction, right? The things have been building up over time. So like, got a bit distracted, but the things have been, building up over time, and then now we've got this, right? In the same way, right? Verse 11 says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchant dies anymore," right? Because they don't really, these different heathen nations, they're just thinking about, man, who we go and sell to, okay? Verse 12 says, "The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, and all theine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble," right? It says, "And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour, right? And wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men." So this is one of the crimes that America has done, and thus the destruction, right? Because this is it. When the Most High brings destruction and judgment, it's for a reason, right? It says also in Job, I feel like I've not read this one in years. Job 4:7, right? It says, "Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish being innocent, aware with the righteous cut off." Okay, so whoever did perish being innocent, Scripture says all of sin and come short of the glory of the Most High, right? But there are certain judgments where it's just kind of like, you know. So I'm just thinking of a precept. Right, yeah, we can load that one as well, right? Yeah, there's certain judgments where it's just like, yo, the Lord, man, the Lord is working here, right? This is judgment of the Lord. So Psalms 9:16 says, "Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executed, right? The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands." Higayon Salah. Okay, so that's it. The Lord is known by his judgment, right? He's known by the things that he does and the destruction that he brings, because you know what? They sin in this world, right? And this is it. This is, the different destructions that happen worldwide. We're kind of looking at it like, damn, snap. It is what it is, you know. But so, for instance, the U.S. State Department said on Thursday that 90 Americans were missing after the disaster, adding no U.S. deaths have been reported. And once again, when you look at the videos, when you look at these pictures from the aftermath, because the videos, man, the videos were, the videos were insane. I mean, for it to do all of this, man, you can only, like if someone's missing, you can just assume they're dead, right? Nearly 1,400 missing. So yeah, just assume they're dead. Like mostly tourists, right, and hundreds killed, right? So, unless the Lord had mercy on certain individuals where they were just in the right place, and because that's another thing as well. Networks will be down and stuff like that, right? But that's it. With natural disasters, it ain't always the primary thing that kills people, right? It's the what's the word? It's the follow-up, right? The lack of clean water, right? The like you may just have a cut, but now that cut is infected, and guess what? Now where are you going for medicine? Okay, but let's go back to this. Right, it's like I said, when I was thinking about just how instant it is, right, it made me think of just how instant, America's destruction is going to be, right? So it goes on to say in verse 14, "And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and they shall find them no more at all," right? It says, "The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, many as trade by sea, stood afar off, right, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city?" Right, because America is a great and powerful, a great and powerful country, right? There's certain things you can do in America that you can't do, anywhere else. Verse 19 says, "And they cast They cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city which wherein we were made rich, and all that had ships in the sea by reason of our costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate, right? And that's it. It's gonna be quick, right? It's it's gonna be there in one moment, and then within an hour it ain't gonna be there, and that's America, right? And once again, we got here by from this word here, catastrophic, right? Causing sudden and very great harm or destruction, right? You know, so yeah, so they're calling this a catastrophe, which it is, right? And when you look at what this word means, right? You can see that, hey, America's going to be destroyed in a catastrophic, right? That's the example. A catastrophic storm made landfall on U.S. soil. That's the spirit, because it ain't going to be yeah, the Lord's going to visit the world with tempest, which one of the precepts I was going to get back on this topic, right? It's one in Isaiah, I think, is the one I'm thinking of. Right? Because yeah, the Lord is going to visit America with tempest, but that rain, right, is going to be that nuclear rain, man. Right? Those nukes are going to fly and they're going to hit and destroy America. So that's the spirit that's even listed there. Okay. But back to the actual topic. It's a luck, so certain times you see certain things, and you go on tangents. But yeah, so it says on Nepal flash flood, right? More than 350 killed amid warning of fresh danger from rising lake water, right? It says authorities say rising lake water at lakeside disaster could burst, right? And who's been looking at, right, through this lesson is just the destruction, right? All of that. So you might have someone, here is looking at a picture, you might have someone that's stuck underneath it, right? The Most High is terrible, man, right, and greatly to be feared. So let's grab this Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake, the great noise with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. Right. So we're going to be seeing more and more of these, natural disasters, more and more of these catastrophes, right, as time goes on. Okay. Right, because the Most High is mad, right? The Most High is visiting the world which He made. Right? We can get that in Isaiah 45. Right, it's not the one I want. No, that's not the one I want. Salakia. Yes, Salakia. Yeah. Second Ezra 9:1. Right, it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, right? And we are observing freak weather, right? And people say, oh, there's always been freak weather, but it's the fact that all of these things are happening all at the same time, right? Whilst we're talking and speaking about this, you're having so whilst we're talking and speaking about this, you're basically having the MOTB infrastructure being built out before our eyes. Okay, so then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which He made. That's what we're witnessing, man. The Lord is visiting this place, right? Even at camp last week, there was a little a stormnado, right? And there was a few years back, there was a little in certain parts of not stormnado, dustnado, right? Stormnado. There was a little dustnado, right? And then even a few years back, there was a small tornado as well. Pick some things up, right? And then when different places, you're seeing that there certainly some places got hit by mini tornadoes and stuff, and that's not, once again, it's not really something you hear about in England like that, right? Europe was on fire, right, and other places throughout the world, and Europe's on fire, Asia's flooding, right? So Lord is starting to visit this world, right? Because once again, because wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, right? And these are just part of the judgments, right? And we're gonna start seeing more and more judgments. Once again, man, when you watch that the videos, brothers can look it up. I won't play any. They are terrible. Those those what you call those videos, man. Like you see it and you're just there like, damn. Like the first one that I saw, right, where basically like you see, you see certain people. They can obviously see that it's running. This is it, that it's coming, and they're running, right? They're running, but it's in vain, right? And you just see this massive wall of water, just water and mud, just coming for them, man. Okay. This is Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Okay, and that's it. It is a fearful, terrible thing, right? To fall into the hands of the living power. Okay. Let's see what we have here, right? The true nature of Yahweh, right? It says Exodus 15:3. Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name, right? So the Most High is all about war. He's all about, executing judgment, right? Hey, just look at us as a nation, right? The Lord executed judgment on us, and we're still reeling from that to these days, right? Deuteronomy 7:10, right? It says, and repair of them that hate them to their face, to destroy them. He will not slack to him that hateth them, right? He will repay him to his face, right? Oh man, yeah. Here's another one. I feel like I'm not. These two feel like I'm not brought out in ages, right? So Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Right, First Samuel 2:6. Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. Right, He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Right, and that's it. Right, which call I'll have these two, Isaiah 45:7. Right, it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I Yahweh do all these things. Right. And then lastly, he says, Amos 3:6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people be not afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh hath not done it? Right? So, hey, the Lord did it. The Lord did it, and the Lord's terrible. And once again, when you watch the vids, yo, as always, Lord's will that was edifying. Till next time, say shalom.